Hello kittens, welcome back, said the cat. So, this morning we're going to be working on our Godot game called Drifter. And Drifter is a simple sort of spaceship racing game, but with a bit of a twist. Its aim is to be a social game with like a large number of players. I'm hoping upwards of 100, 200 players at once, using Elixir as a backend instead of the normal peer-to-peer infrastructure you would use normally for Godot. And the whole premise of the game is that you zoom around and you collect letters of the alphabet and characters, and then you can slowly build up chains of messages that then you can use to sort of like communicate with other players and things like that. We'll be adding sort of like emoji support and the ability to essentially shoot emojis at each other, which I think will be quite fun. Okay, so if you are if you're new to the channel, check out sebthecat.com. We will have a link to a lot of the resources here, as well as our Twitter, if you want to get notified on updates and live streams, and YouTube, where we'll be posting stream highlights, tutorials, and additional things. And also any issues we come up against during our stream, I will be trying to document. So if you have similar bugs, if you're interested in getting it into the stuff, this is going to be a good resource as well for that. No ads, no pop-ups, no bullshit. So it's just a blog. But I hope that if you're interested, you will check it out. Cool. So, all right. So let's close everything except the Godot documentation. And of course, open up Godot. And I'm going to switch our workspace over to our platform workspace. Now, I am still a little bit new to Godot. And so I guess I was still, didn't quite understand how the joint system worked, and so we got a little bit stuck with the physics of the chain that's supposed to sort of follow behind the player. But I've realized that essentially we just need to make sure that the joint and the two objects we're joining all need to be siblings of each other, because if you nest those, you're gonna have a bad time, as a certain ski instructor would say. Okay, so let's have a look at what we've got so far. I'm going to drop down into this player ownership and player scene and just re-enable our particles, because I think the particles are pretty cool. And let's see where we're at so far. Okay, I don't know where that window has been placed. Where'd you go? Let's just pause the game. Oh, there. Here we go. All right, and so I can sort of zoom around, and I've got the first item of my chain following me. I might just zoom the camera out a little bit. So that's going to be here in the... Oh, we don't have the camera anymore. That makes sense. Yeah, I restructured this. Okay, so under here, we're just going to add a camera node. We had this before, but we're just going to, and we're just going to make sure we select current on the right there. And then that's going to make sure we've got our camera, and our zoom is going to be 0.5 by 0.5, I think. Nope, that is increasing the zoom somehow makes this zooms out, but okay. One thing I found works really good in these sort of games is increasing the zoom relative to the player's velocity. So we're going to put the smoothing on, and so that's essentially going, if the player is like jiggling about, the camera is going to sort of just soften that jiggle a bit, which generally is, I think, pretty good. Cool. All right, so that should give us in fact, I'm actually starting to think we need it as a child of the player, don't we? Not the player ownership. So player ownership is sort of just a blanket node that, oh, thank you for the follow, Grotty Tugboat. I really enjoy your username. Are you British? That sounds like a very British username. Okay. All right, so actually, because the thing is that the player ownership node is actually not going to move. It's simply a node for us to collect all the objects that essentially the player is controlling, because the player is controlling more than just the ship. They're controlling the chain as well. And so I might be misguided in this, but I sort of thought, let's maybe just put a node that wraps around everything that an individual player is controlling. And the reason I'm doing that, I think, is that when we add the multiplayer ships, we kind of want them to be self-contained at some level, like sort of contained in a node. But it's been a while since I've done GameDev, so I might be a little bit misguided on that. Okay, so what that means is that we can't just put the camera underneath the ownership node, because the ownership node is not going to move around. The player object, maybe we should call this player ship, but okay, so we're just going to repeat what we did here, and I always get that wrong. The zoom. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to enable smoothing. You know what, I might bring that right down to like 2 and just see how that feels. Because I'd rather like err on the side of smooth. And then where's the current? Okay, we've done current, we've fixed the zoom, and we've added smoothing. I think that's what we really need to do, so let's run the game again. Okay. Okay, so we do actually have an error here. So where was this? Get root scene node. Okay. Start link. Ready. Okay. So the start link here, the scene mode is okay, so I don't think we can do this on ready because the scene mode is like a auto load, and so it's like a global, and I'm not sure it's going to be ready at that point. So let's go back and start again and see if that fixes the error. Nope. Okay, we'll just comment this out. I'd really like to figure out a way to easily detect when we're running at root level or not, but okay. So globals.scene mode is there. Have we changed the interface for that? Oh, it's just on. It is just on. Okay, so this seems to be an issue with this global. I thought I commented out, so I'm not sure why it's still complaining. Okay, let's just stop. Try again. Oh, indented block expected after declaration of ready function. Oh yes. Alright, we'll just remove that function for now. And let's run. Cool. And so we're now, see, we've got a pin joint which is connecting the player and the first link of the chain, right? And I'd like to limit the angle at some point, but I don't think that's core to gameplay, so we'll probably just leave that for now. We can zoom around and collect the letters. Cool. So what is our debugger saying here? Errors. Get node. Node not found. Alright, cool. I know why that is. Let's stop the game.